Hey guys, we are back updating the Power Kings for Survivor 46, following episode 12, the penultimate episode of the season. And admittedly, my views haven't really changed. I feel like at this point, my thoughts on these players are pretty solidified, or at least in terms of who I think is going to win, but we'll get to that soon enough. But there are 6 players to talk about, and let's waste more time. Let's get into the video. So starting off at number 6, we have the boot from this week, and here we have Q. And just like the other players that came before him, Q made a pretty big mistake by going out with the idol in his pocket. Now, to be fair, I did kind of see it coming by the end of it, where he found the idol and he talked about not playing it. It just made me think that it would make sense for Q to go out in this way, considering the way that he's played, considering this trend that we've been seeing, and also considering the set that we've been getting, to where I didn't really see Charlie going out in this episode, even though they did all this stuff setting up that Charlie and Maria are no longer working together. I feel like the show is clearly setting up that Charlie will be the one to take out Maria, which in turn means that Charlie is probably not going home here. And if Charlie wasn't going home, that means Q goes home. So obviously, it's not too shocking that goes out here. And Q is a bit of an interesting player here. He's a fantastic character to be sure, but I feel like he's someone who probably doesn't win if he gets towards the end, which is funny considering how overconfident he comes off, even in his exit interview where he talks about how he beats anyone. But even beyond that, I feel like his game is kind of confusing, where he kind of just blows it up for whatever reason, and a lot of it stems from his views of him wanting to feel like the best and him wanting to fall on the sword, and again, just a lot of weird stuff. Now, he does kind of recover, but even then, he really just sinks his own game, makes it so that he doesn't win if he gets towards the end, which I think is a flaw in itself. But still, the fact that he got to the final 6 is at least somewhat interesting. But now he's out of the game to where he's here at number 6. And before we continue, I am once again partnering up with Russell Muscle TV to promote Idle Plays. Idle Plays is an online shop where you can purchase Survivor puzzles and practice them. That way you can potentially be the next challenge beast on Survivor 47 and beyond. In this season, we have creator lockers. These are special bundles handpicked by myself and other Survivor YouTubers, along with creator trading cards. If you purchase my puzzle, you can get your hands on the Labyrinth Ball puzzle, the Slide puzzle, and Spencer's puzzle from Survivor Cambodia. If you want to take home these puzzles and more, feel free to use my link in the description or use my affiliate code, Survivor Gumball, and start prepping now. And with that, there are 5 players left in the game to talk about, and as usual, I'll be ranking them based on how likely things are to win the game based on their editing current game position. But at number 5, the person I believe is the least likely to win from this point going into the finale is Liz. And Liz just continues to get this weird dodo content here, where her main content comes early on where she finally goes to the bathroom, which I guess she hasn't gone to the bathroom in almost a month. And then obviously being taken on the reward for once and her getting her letters from home. I mean, also that feels pretty circumstantial, but at the end of the day, she's probably not winning. I feel like at this point, I'm pretty certain that she's going to be the 0 vote finalist that's dragged to the end, as I feel like there are bigger fish to fry coming into these last 2 rounds. So again, she's at least going to get to the end, not going to win. So nothing too new there, but she's here at number 5. Now moving on to number 4, and we have someone who is definitely not winning at this point, but we do have Maria, and Maria just continues to have the setup to take out Charlie, while Charlie gets set up to take out Maria, and I think it's pretty clear to me that Charlie's going to win this battle. Charlie's going to be one to take out Maria by the end of it. We got a lot of setup to it early in the episode, only for Maria to win immunity there. And all that pushes that off one more round. I feel like at the first opportunity, Maria doesn't win immunity. She's probably toast. And considering the way that she's been edited, I don't think she's going to get to the end. I think she's going to lose immunity and probably be voted out the final 5. As I don't really see her losing in the fire making challenge, as she seems confident enough at that. So I feel like she'll probably just go out in final 5. I think that makes a lot of sense for her, as she's being propped as a big threat. And considering that both Charlie and Maria are going after each other, I feel like with the episode really hammering home the fact that they're done, they're turning on each other, I feel like it's pretty clear that Maria and Charlie are not getting to the end together, and that Maria is probably going to go out before Charlie, which is why she's here at number 4. Now moving on to number 3, and it is the same top 3 as last week, and believe it or not, it is the same order as last week, even though I feel like the number 1 spot is very much solidified at this point. But at number 3, we do have Charlie. And the main reason I have Charlie this low is while he is getting set up to winning this battle against Maria, where he literally gets the flashback in this episode to when they first made their deal to work together, how they called themselves Malcolm and Denise, and that this time Malcolm's going to be the one to take it home. I still don't think Charlie's going to win. And I think now, seeing the way that the rest of the game is going to play out, I think it makes sense that Charlie might lose a jury vote, which sounds crazy considering I feel like Charlie's played the best game, and considering that I probably would vote for him if he gets to the end. But I think despite this, like if you read the exit interviews, it doesn't seem like Charlie's as big of a jury threat as you might think. And I'll definitely be talking about that more in my jury scenarios video, which will be coming out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But I don't think Charlie's guaranteed to win a jury vote at the end, and considering the way another person is being portrayed later on, as I'll be talking about in the number 2 spot, I'm starting to think that Charlie does get the final tribal only to be the second place finisher. Sort of similar to what I thought Maria was going to be for a lot of the season, both Maria now being propped up as a threat and someone who's probably going to be cut before the end. I think Charlie just takes that spot now, right? Where I could see him like getting to the end and being like this Ryan figure, like someone who played an impressive game, but someone who just doesn't get the respect of the jury by the end of it. And as I'll be talking about more in tomorrow's video, I think there's a world where the jury just doesn't really see Charlie's game for what it is, or at least for what I would see it. And I know that's something that people don't want to hear, but it wouldn't shock me if Charlie just loses a jury vote. And considering how Ben is being portrayed, it wouldn't make sense for Ben to get to the end. But in turn, I think Charlie also not winning. So I feel like that kind of leaves me in this weird spot to where I do have to drop Charlie here. But really, these number 2 and number 3 spots don't matter that much, considering I'm so confident in the number 1 spot. But that does leave Charlie here at number 3. Now moving on to number 2, and it is the same person I had at number 2 last week, but we do have Ben. And Ben's also kind of a weird case. Now, if we are reading the exit interviews and just looking at the jury, admittedly, I don't think Ben's that much bigger of a jury threat compared to Charlie. However, I think the weird thing about Ben is this episode we did get some more information about him. We learned that his vote for Kenzie last tribal was not a defensive play like I thought it was, but just him just forgetting who to vote for, which in itself is pretty wild. But even so, he's being portrayed pretty positively. We once again get a highlight of his relationship with Kenzie, where he once again has another panic attack, and we see Kenzie once again showing that she cares for Ben. And clearly they're meant to show that this is like a meaningful relationship in a lot of ways. But at the same time, it's also weird content for Ben to be getting if both Ben and Kenzie were to make it to the end, where I don't think that both Ben and Kenzie will get to the end. I think one of them will have to go. And in turn, like this scene will explain why one of them ends up propping up the other in a jury vote. Where, truth be told, I think Ben's going to be cut before the end, probably losing fire, or maybe be cut at 5 against Maria if Maria wins immunity. And in turn, Ben will just prop up Kenzie on the jury. I think that's the most likely scenario to happen, which obviously means that Ben doesn't win. But in some weird situation where Kenzie gets cut before the end, if she's like this mermaid dragon that's like the final boss of the season, I could see a world where Ben just inherits all of the Kenzie votes at the end. Again, we'll be talking about that more in the next video. But I think from an edit perspective, I wouldn't shock me if Ben does end up being like the backup to Kenzie, sort of like the Gabler that we're talking about. Now, at the end of the day, I feel like Ben's edit is not as strong as Gabler's, where I feel like it's a lot more under the radar. He's obviously been undermined a bit more. But I feel like compared to Charlie, I could see Ben being a winner more easily than I can see Charlie winning, where I feel like Charlie is so blatantly a decoy winner for me to where it wouldn't feel right for me to have him too high in the power ranking. But at the same time, I don't think Ben's winning either. I don't think he's getting to the end. And I feel like with the number 1 person being so obvious, I do have him here at number 2. And now, at number 1, the person I believe is the most likely to win Survivor 46 going into the finale is still Kenzie. And I think this episode really sealed that Kenzie is going to win, even though I was already very confident that she would win by the end of it, even though these last few episodes have been kind of wonky for her. But I think this episode is just what we need to really solidify Kenzie is going to win, considering that both Charlie and Maria are going after each other, considering that the exit interviews imply that Charlie may not be as big of a jury threat as before. But I think the bigger thing is this Ben and Kenzie relationship, which really came out left field considering it had already been established earlier in the merge. But considering that we are once again focusing on this relationship, really highlighting Kenzie's approach to the game of her really focusing on her relationships and caring about people, despite the fact that she doesn't really have much of a move on her resume. And truth be told, I don't think Kenzie's game is objectively that good. But I feel like that scene really props up Kenzie in a way that would explain why she ends up winning. Now, again, I feel like Ben will probably be cut before the end. It'll probably really be supportive of Kenzie on the jury, really seeing her as playing this masterful social game and someone that will really lead her to the win there. As I feel like with Charlie being a clear decoy winner, with Maria being too big of a threat, with Liz clearly not getting respect by the jury, I feel like Kenzie is by far the frontrunner for me. I feel like I can't really see anyone else winning at this point outside of Ben, which is why I have Ben at number 2. But I feel like there's a 95% chance that Kenzie will win. And if I'm wrong, I mean, you can refer to the back to this later and laugh at me. But I feel so confident that Kenzie's going to win at this point, considering the rest of the field, which is why I easily have Kenzie here at number 1. And there we go. That'll do it for this week's video. If you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps with the channel. Now, tomorrow I will be uploading my jury scenarios video where I'll be talking about the various final 3 combinations and what we can expect from those, so you can expect those. On finale night, I plan to live stream my reaction to that, so you can join me on there on my YouTube channel. I'm on Patreon, so if you want to consider supporting the channel, you can do so by clicking the link in the description. And you can also join the Discord server by also clicking the link in the description. There's a lot of stuff coming your way. But for now, that is the video. See ya.